MBA fans and friends. Nicole Wilson, Vice President of Economic Development here at the Midland Business Alliance. I'm so lucky to be joined for this month's edition of the Investor Spotlight with Sarah Bennett, Site Leader for Roquette.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm happy to be here.
So glad to have you, and really to introduce Roquette to our community. We were happy to celebrate a ribbon cutting with you all a few months ago. So
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about Roquette.
Great. What would you like to start with today?
Yes, why Midland? That's always a great question to start with, and maybe to expand just a little bit, not just why Midland for Roquette, but why Midland for you and for your family.
Absolutely. So I was actually born and raised here in Midland. I grew up on a farm that's been in my family since 1892. So I am the fifth generation to be born and raised on the farm here in Midland. And I grew up showing cattle in the area, which my daughters are now carrying on that tradition as well, showing cattle in 4-H at the Midland County Fair. And so growing up on a farm, I've always kind of been good at math, had a strong interest in science, so engineering was kind of a natural fit for me when I went to school at Michigan State. And as an engineer, manufacturing has really kind of made its home for me as someone who has strong ties to the environment and being outdoors and just not sitting at a desk all day. And then, the why Roquette for me really comes down to the people. Roquette is a company that's really working to make a difference in people's lives, which is very fulfilling, and helping people to live out their best life and working with colleagues who bring out the best in each other is really what makes Roquette stand out for me.
Yes, wonderful. Well, and of course, headquartered in France, and so an interesting group of colleagues over, across the pond, as they say. So it's been neat to welcome Roquette and celebrate with you all. So I'm really glad to have you all here. I'd love to know kind of history, right? So you have been in manufacturing in Midland for quite some time, and have done the switch over from Dow to IFF to Roquette. And so let's talk about that a little bit. You've seen the evolution of these companies and of the iPark, and how has that transition been for you?
Good. Yeah, it's so our two facilities that we have here in Midland are Ethyl and Methacel. Both of these products started for Dow right here in Midland back in the 1930s. So we've been making them in Midland for over 80 years now. And when we went through the Dow to DuPont transition, Ethyl and Methacel were actually the two oldest active trademarks within Dow Chemical, which is kind of cool to say. And so as we have worked through those various transitions from Dow to DuPont to IFF and ultimately now to Roquette, we've continued to make those products here in Midland and hope to be able to do that for another 80 years as we move forward.
That's pretty incredible. It's certainly a long legacy and continued success with those two products. So it's wonderful. So in that transition, and part of what we talk about in Midland is the accessibility of leadership here in our community, and how you might see, our Fortune 50, Fortune 100 CEOs walking the halls and have access to upper level leaders to kind of help us grow in our journeys. But part of that is learning how to adapt to different challenges. So can you tell us about a time, maybe there was a personal or professional challenge that really called on you to grow in some way, and kind of how you navigated that?
Absolutely. So I actually just accepted this site leader role earlier this year. And so doing that while also going through an organizational transition and the acquisition into Roquette has definitely been a learning experience. 2025 has definitely been a year of growth and learning for me, and really has called on me to rely on the great talent and the people that we have around us. I don't think when you're in leadership, you don't need to know the answer to everything, but you need to know where to go to get those answers. And so trusting the people that you work with and being able to call on them to know that they're going to have your back and do their jobs to the best of their ability is ultimately what I feel makes an organization successful.
Wonderful. So resourcing, right? Being able to know what those resources are and point to them and draw on them when you need them. It's great advice. I appreciate that. So you mentioned 4-H, you mentioned MSU. So if I were to say go green,
go white.
I'm not a Michigan State grad, but there are plenty of them around these walls. And so certainly I've learned that part. So kind of thinking about all of the environmental that comes with growing up on a farm. And did you study engineering at Michigan State, or did you kind of go the route of agriculture and environmental?
So I took the route that kind of meshes the two together. So my degree from Michigan State was called biosystems engineering. And within that, I specialized on the environmental engineering side. So I actually graduated from both the College of Ag and Natural Resources and the College of Engineering. But it's an accredited engineering program. And I've spent my entire career working in manufacturing since then.
So you enjoy it?
Yes.
Absolutely. One of the things that we've talked about with manufacturing is, in some cases, that isn't considered as a career path for some of our high school grads, and so they aren't looking for a manufacturing path. But it's such a traditional and legacy industry here in our community, and so kind of raising awareness that there's a path for that, no matter what your passion is a really wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And we have several positions open right now, whether they are in leadership or engineering. We have positions in production and up to and including entry-level logistics positions. And we have several examples of employees that have started out at the very entry level and worked their way up, become certified process operators, moved into today technical staff roles, and really lots of examples of people that have worked to make that a career. And being able to grow people kind of in-house and also build that knowledge and skill set for them is incredibly satisfying and very rewarding to do.
I love that. Thank you. So you've been in Midland your whole life, pretty much, other than those times, right? So tell me maybe a hidden gem or a place that you love to spend time, other than the farm, of course, but maybe a hidden gem that others newer to Midland might not know about.
So when I think back on growing up here in Midland, one of my favorite memories as a kid is going to the Santa house. We went to the Santa house every year with some family friends. We would always go there and then go to dinner at Pizza Sam's afterwards. And that's a tradition that I've continued to carry on with my two daughters, and just the awe and the inspiration that you see in their faces every time we walk in the door, and just all of the little kids, is still one of my favorite things about Midland, and a tradition that I just love to carry on.
100%. Absolutely.
And we still go to dinner at Pizza Sam's every time afterwards. That's still a family favorite for pizza.
Absolutely. That's the tradition. And one last question, and we'll keep this short, but is there a book, podcast, leader that you follow that you like to kind of keep up with, that continues to inspire you and maybe give you a little extra energy on those days when you're just not feeling it?
Absolutely. So we kind of have a tradition within the site that each year the site leader has picked out a book for the leadership team to read that's applicable to the challenges or the environment that we may be facing. And so this year the book that our team is reading is called Crucial Conversations. And I chose this book for the team, really recognizing, that as we're going through this organizational transition into Roquette, I think communication is one of the biggest barriers that we need to be able to break through. We need to make sure that leaders can talk to their teams, that we're transparent, that we're available, we're able to answer questions when needed. And I think having a unified front moving forward is really going to be paramount to our success. Absolutely. As a united organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, thank you for your time today. I always appreciate our leaders that take the time to share a little bit about themselves and the organizations they're leading. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.